All right, so the next pump inside of Bitcoin is actually coming pretty soon. We're just going to get right into it. And remember, I'm not a financial advisor, none of this is financial advice. But if we're looking at the prices right now for Bitcoin, we can actually see it looks like Bitcoin is pulling back right now. Even if you look at the RSI, it looks like it's pulling back. But remember what happened back here, how we pulled back just a little bit, like it pulled back just a little bit. And then you can see how on the RSI how it bottomed out, and then it kept pumping. And this actually happens time and time again with the RSI. If you pay attention to it, like you can see when we have these pullbacks and then we stop like midway there, we almost immediately keep pumping after that. So that's really what we want to pay attention to here, because we're actually doing the same thing here. If you're wondering what indicators I'm using the chart prime indicators. You can check that out, link in the description. But with the chart prime indicators, you can see here with the momentum wave bands how we are literally trading in between this channel here. And look, usually when we have the green lines here that are forming with the chart prime indicators, it's usually telling us that we're actually about to have a support area that we're about to hit, right? And typically when we hit that support, we usually go up. Like right here, we just kept going up, but then eventually it had to come back down, because what goes up must come down, right? But it took a while for us to finally break that pattern. And it looks like we're about to enter that same pattern that we were once in before. You can see it tried to do it here, but then we hit the support and now it's starting to try to do it again. So I think right now we might be going up to this next channel inside of Bitcoin. It looks like we're going to be dropping down, like I said, to like 41.3K, maybe 41K flat, somewhere around there, possibly even down to the bottom of the momentum wave band around 39 to 40K. But after that, I believe we're going to have a pump from here, and it might not even get all the way down to 39K. It might just drop down to 41K, right? But after that, I truly believe we're going to have another pump coming in here. And another reason why I like Trading View is pretty cool. You can see what's coming up inside of like the economics for like the world, and usually it just shows for the U.S., but it does have a huge role to play in crypto because it's the largest GDP out there. But anyways, GDP growth rate is going to be announced on the 21st of December. That's pretty important. And then we're having all this other stuff. Another big thing is also when we look at Christmas and what happens around Christmas time, a lot of people are selling to buy gifts and stuff. That's why we're seeing the price kind of plateaued here and it's kind of pulling back. People are selling also because of tax savings, because they want to realize their losses now. So then going into the next year, they can write their taxes off and, get that money back. And then they'll buy back in when they do that. Right. So that's a pretty important aspect to look at here for the crypto market. And it has a really, really big effect on Bitcoin as well. Remember, every single time we go into a new year, we also have a pump going into the New Year's. So I feel like right now we're just going to be pulling back until the New Year's. And then when the New Year's comes, we might be all the way down to 39K. We might be at 40K, right? But as long as we don't go below this Fibonacci and go below 37K towards 33K, we're good. We do not want to break 37K going down to 33K. But as long as we, stay above it, we're good. Now, if you look at every single time we've had a New Year's, we are always pumping on New Year's. If you look at the last New Year's, it did the same thing from 16K Bitcoin, December of 2022, all the way up. It went from 16K all the way up from there. If you look at every single time we have a New Year's, it's not every single time, but it's usually every single time, right? So I don't want to just say every single time. People are like, but it didn't do it this New Year's, blah, blah, blah. But usually is. You can see the 2021 New Year's, we had a huge pump going into 2021. If you look at going into 2020, that one we had a smaller pump, but then from that smaller pump, it kind of went down from there. So that's pretty much what we have here for that. Now, I could just go ahead and zoom in on this for you a little bit here. As you can see, going into 2020, we had a small pump, but it wasn't that big. It went from 7,100 all the way up to 10K, but it was still a pump going into the New Year's. So it still deems itself as, the maybe we can just say it's like the Bitcoin religion, right? It's like this happens every single New Year's, but it happens. It really does. And if you look at the last one over here, it was actually, we kind of plateaued for the 2017. But remember, we're entering like new, never before seen spaces right now, right? And going into this New Year's, it did pump, it was like from all the way down here from the 13K area all the way up to 18K. So typically, this is just to say, like, look, we usually have a pump going into New Year's. And that's probably what's going to happen again. It happens time and time again. Now, like I said, we could be pulling back here to the support, could go all the way down to 38K. If we break 38K, going down below 37K, going down to 33K, then that's pretty much going to show that we're bearish, right? We do not want to break this level here. If we break that level, we are bearish. But I don't believe we're going to break that level just yet. What's going to end up happening here, in my personal opinion, like I said, I'm not a financial advisor, none of this financial advice, but in my personal opinion, what's actually about to happen is we're probably going to end up pulling back here to the 30, maybe 38K, but I think this area right here is probably more realistic, right? Maybe we pull down to 41K, maybe we pull down to 40K, right? Or maybe we even get all the way down to 38K, but I don't think we're going to end up breaking that area. And what happens after that? What happens after that is we get the pump. And the pump is what's going to end up bringing us to the top of our momentum wave band here. And again, this is chart prime. That's what I'm using. And you can see here, that's going to bring us all the way up to about 48K. Now, some people are saying we're going to break that and get up to 52K. That's a possibility. But what I want you all to know is after we have this pump, what happens? After we have this pump, we're probably going to end up having a major pullback, right? And this is going to be the pullback of all time, right? The pullback of all pullbacks, I guess we can call it. And the reason why I'm saying like the major pullback, I'm just trying to delete this stuff here. But the reason why I'm saying we're probably going to end up having a major pullback is because if you look at the previous resistance areas for Bitcoin, it's literally, everything that we've been talking about here, it's coming into fruition actually. And I don't know why this is like messing up. I'm trying to like draw this little line here. But anyways, yeah, around 48 to 52K is typically going to be our resistance, right? So we have this one here at 48K. And if we're able to pass 48K, right, then we have all the way up here around like 52K, which is also another resistance for us. So we could do 48 to 52K. And look, we haven't had a pullback since we had the major pump, right? Since we had this major pump going all the way back here from October till now, we haven't had a major pullback. That's why I believe once we have this last major pump, we will have a major pullback. And look at how this little green line right here is going. Pretty much when this line stops is where we're going to stop for our support. I believe we're going to be stopping around like 30K here. This Fibonacci down here, the green one. I think that this is the 0.5 Fibonacci, but I think this is going to actually be the support when we actually pull back and stop here with Bitcoin. So after 52K, I'm looking for us to go all the way down to like 30K. And that's when I'm going to hop back in for my position here. I'm going to position myself right into there. And it's very important actually to look at the RSI as well. This is the 1 week chart. We were at the 4 hour chart before, but what we want to look at now is the 1 week chart. And what's really important here about the 1 week chart with Bitcoin, if you actually look at the RSI, you can see how it's going downwards, right? It's going down, but look at it. It looks like it's about to cross. It's just like how we did here, how it was going down, and then we crossed here and we kept going. That's exactly what it looks like it's about to do now. It looks like if it does pull back here, which it is, it's about to cross. And as it crosses, we're going to have that increase in price. And that's what's going to end up bringing us up to about 50 to 52K, right? But then what goes up must come down. We're at our top of our RSI. We eventually have to come down. The same thing that happened back here. We were at our top of the RSI. We had to come back down. We got all the way up to 25K. We had to drop all the way back down to 19K, right? And then it kept going from there, right? And then, again, we got all the way up here to about 30.4K. We dropped all the way down here to 25.9K. So the same thing is going to end up happening here from 32K. I believe we can go from 52K. I believe we can go from 52K to 30K. So that's really what I'm watching out here for Bitcoin. But let me know what you all think about this. Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice, but I do truly believe that this is probably what's going to be playing out here. And a lot of people are looking at it like the same way. Like everyone who's doing the technical analysis is kind of coming up with the same answers here because the technicals don't lie. Like when you're doing long-term technicals, it's kind of hard to fail doing a long-term technical unless you get some crazy thing where like someone's manipulating the market. But it's kind of hard to fail when you're doing the long-term. Now, short-term, you can 100% fail on a short-term technical, but even right now, like I'm looking at it here, the RSI looks like it's about to cross here, like it's about to go back up in price, maybe up to 43K. Maybe it goes all the way back down to 41K first, and then, it does some trading like that, goes a little bit lower, and then it just does a huge astronomical pump from there. But either way, we're going to have a pump, and then it's going to be followed by a dump. So we're probably going to be going into the New Year's looking good, going all the way up to 52K. And then from there, right before the Bitcoin halving, we're going to hit our plateau. We're going to go back down to like 30K right before the Bitcoin halving. And then from there is where things get really interesting because after the Bitcoin halving, is straight to 100K after that pretty much. So, it's inevitable. But hey, let me know what you guys think about this. Hit the like button and subscribe. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Let me know what you guys really want me to cover, because I know I made the video talking about Baby Doge, about how I'm not gonna do like meme coin videos, and I think these type of videos are really real value is, because everybody knows all of crypto is following Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin pumps and then it sells off, and then that money goes into meme coins, right? So as long as Bitcoin's pumping, we know Baby Doge is going to pump. We know all the other cryptos are going to pump. So what we really need to do are the technical analysis on Bitcoin. But who knows? Maybe I can do news videos for you all, but let me know. If you want these automated trading indicators, definitely check out the Chart Prime link in the description. And as always, I'll be back with another video.